The dominoes continue to fall for Tennessee football recruiting. Not one, not two, but three commits on Tuesday. And one of those who I think can be the steal of the class. Tell you all about TJ White and the other Tennessee commits. All that and more right here on a Wednesday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Cain. Appreciate you guys being here, making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. I'm the host here at Locked On Vols, Cain. Of course, I'm a part of the VolQuest.com team covering Tennessee athletics here in town. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's over at Monarch Money. Got a loaded show today. Okay, loaded show. We're going to break down three commits for Tennessee football that happened on Tuesday, kind of go over that class of 2026 and what that looks like right now, position by position, star by star breakdown, kind of where Tennessee is with the 16 commits right now for the class of 2026. And then a couple of different things we're going to sprinkle in segment number 3. EA Sports has released the top 20 quarterbacks in its football game, the top 10 offensive players, top 10 defensive players. Brett McMurphy of On3 Sports now, a new acquisition earlier in the week for On3 Sports, put out his bowl predictions and college football playoff predictions. And where does he have Tennessee finishing the 2025 season? All that and more coming up in segment number 3. So, loaded show. Let's not waste any more time for the everydayers. Appreciate you for being here. Let's dive down into it. Let's start with commit number 1 in TJ White. And, TJ White and Dereon Albert kind of went together. They kind of announced together. They are teammates at Jackson Academy in Jackson, Mississippi. We'll start with the linebacker and TJ White, who, again, I kind of did a show on him whenever On3 landed out an expert prediction for TJ White last week. I think that this guy could be a steal of the class, right? Again, linebacker's not very sexy. I recognize that. That's not like a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver or an edge rusher or anything like that. But still, linebacker, got to have some, and you need some good ones. And TJ White is a top 100 linebacker in the country. On3 industry rankings has him as the number 80 overall prospect in the country. All right, 5th linebacker, 5th from the state of Mississippi, 5th overall prospect from the state of Mississippi. On3 has him as prospect number 71 in the class. Rivals has him at 143 in the class. And a guy that can really move sideline to sideline well. It's got good frame on him already, entering a senior season, 6'1", 225 pounds. So TJ White is already kind of looking the part, right? And he joins a linebacker class now of Tennessee with Braylon Outlaw. And I've talked about the potential of what this linebacker class could look like in a couple of weeks. What about Braden Rouse? When is Braden Rouse going to announce? Will it be Tennessee? Will it be Texas? Will it be a sleeper in that one? Braden Rouse was on campus just a couple weeks ago, or for the last week of official visits, and said that he's been at Tennessee a ton, and this was his best visit. And, really was feeling the Volunteers. So, like I said in the show last week, if Tennessee can land Braden Rouse along with the linebacker commit Tennessee got yesterday in TJ White, man, that linebacker room just continues to look better and better under William Inge with Jeremiah Thielander, Arion Carter, Edwin Spillman, a couple of the freshmen last year that I'm excited to see play, and Jaden Harmon, Jaden Perlotti, Brendan Ains, Jordan Burns, who was hurt last year, and we'll see what kind of role he has. That linebacker group has come miles and miles and miles from what Brian Jean-Marie inherited in 2021. Well, it's just a couple of years ago when Tennessee was playing 3 linebackers in the 2021 season, and, you need a whole lot more depth than that for sure. So TJ White, I think, is going to be a really, really nice solid piece. Check out the impact analysis over at VolQuest.com, and Jackson Academy head coach David Duggan, who was formerly the defensive coordinator at Kent State. So he's a ball knower, right? And he was talking about the IQ of TJ White and kind of what stands out about him. Said, I was the defensive coordinator here 4 years ago, and I left to be the DC at Kent State. I thought before I left, this guy is a no-brainer Power 4 guy. He got a really big year left of him. He said he got a really big year the year that I left. I got back to town, and he got back down to 295, and he is really explosive. And, that's on Albert. Sorry. That is on Dereon Albert that I'll get to here in just a moment. I saw 295. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm so sorry. Let's start over here. Same coach, okay, but this is on TJ White, the linebacker. I could go back and edit all that out, but I mean, hey, that's what makes this show what it is, right? Quote, TJ has improved a lot. His physicality improved last season. He is long, explosive athlete. He can really run. His track time a year ago was 11 flat, which is pretty good for a linebacker. That's in the 100-meter. He plays like that on the football field. He has got a great motor. He works really hard in practice. It carries over to the game field. He has a lot of upside. He was a basketball player until this past year, so he has a lot of growing to do, and I think his ceiling has yet to be reached. His athletic ability and explosiveness are only going to continue to improve, and that is what former Kent State defensive coordinator, current head coach at Jackson Academy, David Duggan, had to say on TJ White. So that's all about TJ White. You already heard a little bit of what he had to say about Dereon Albert, but let's shift gears here to Dereon Albert now. Dereon Albert, the first true defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman of this class for the University of Tennessee. 6'1", 305 is what he's listed on his profile here at Rivals. Again, On3 and Rivals merged at the beginning of this month, so that's pretty exciting. And have the brand of Rivals covering recruiting for the On3 network. Phenomenal work. But as we just mentioned from the coach, he's down to 295. But 6'1", right around 300 pounds. Again, Jackson Academy, Jackson, Mississippi. National rank on 3 industry rankings, 347 in the country, 34th on the defensive line, 13th from the state of Mississippi. A guy that I think has a tremendous upside. And kind of while we're talking about that, let's go ahead and go back to the quote from David Duggan that I partially read a moment ago, talking about his football IQ. Quote, I was the defensive coordinator here 4 years ago. I left to be the defensive coordinator at Kent State. I thought before I left, this guy is a no-brainer Power 4 guy. He got really big the year after I left. He got back down to 295. He's really explosive and is heavy-handed. He loves to play the game. I think he is one of those guys. He is not a 6'4" guy, but he plays with a really good leverage at the point of attack and is just explosive. I think he will be really, really dynamic, end quote. That's what you like to hear. Point of impact, leverage points and all that. Not a 6'4" defensive lineman, but 6'1"-ish, right? And, has a good leverage point because you're already lower to the ground. And the explosiveness, strength that comes into that, something you need to be moving interior offensive lineman. He goes on to talk about his leadership skills. That is something that has kind of caught his attention. Quote, the kids respect him because he has been a 4-year starter here. He is just continuously working to be one of the guys that the kids respect and follow. He's a vocal guy. He's been here for 4 years at Jackson Academy, and there's really not a person at the school who doesn't like him as a person. He just was one of those personalities that people like. He is fun to be around. I think as he gets to be at the next level, can his play and everything follow everything he has been trying to do here? He's got a lot of ability. If he plays within himself, you will be able to see the traits that he has, and I think one of them is leadership, and one of them is certainly football IQ. He just rubs off on people. That's what you like to hear, what you really, really like to hear. So around the 2 o'clock hour on a Tuesday afternoon, it was 2 commits, teammates from Jackson Academy in Jackson, Mississippi, and 4-star linebacker TJ White and 4-star defensive lineman Dereon Albert, who, again, Albert was up on an official visit the middle of the month. TJ White was up on an official visit, I want to say, it would make sense if they were there together. Let's see here. TJ White was on his official visit the middle of the month as well. Yeah, so 2 commits from Jackson Academy. There was another commit later in the day on Tuesday. We'll tell you who that was, all about the cornerback commit for Tennessee, and kind of break down what this class looks like right now. Now with 16 commits for the University of Tennessee here in the 2026 class. All that and more is coming up next. We continue on here this Wednesday. Locked on Vols. Stay tuned. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, all of your investments and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Do you ever wish that you have all of your accounts, all the things you're spending money on in one place? We're all adults here. I've got stuff like I have mortgage coming from here. I've got subscriptions coming from here. I've got stuff all over the place. Or at least I did before I got involved with Monarch Money. Now it's all coming from one place. And so I know exactly when things are coming out, when I'm adding to my accounts and all that and more. And, tracking that with my wife, it's so much easier. It takes the stress out of it as well. It helped me, and I think it can help you as well. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Again, check out our friends over at Monarch Money. So the third commit that Tennessee picked up on a Tuesday afternoon was three-star cornerback from Baylor School in Chattanooga, Jamyan Theodore. Jamyan Theodore from Canada has played at Baylor School, and there's been a couple of different situations like that with some guys coming down to Baylor School, and then some guys coming from Baylor School to the University of Tennessee, and he's joining his teammate Gabriel Ascenda, offensive lineman, 4-star, 5-star, about 247 in this class. And, of course, Amari Jefferson's here from Baylor School. Joakim Dotson's here from Baylor School. It's a nice little pipeline here from Chattanooga to Knoxville, and you love that for sure. And, obviously, one of the best running backs in the entire country for the 2027 class is also at Baylor right now as well. And Tennessee's very much in on him. But let's talk about Jamyan Theodore a little bit. 6 foot, about 165, 170 pounds. Not very highly ranked. 3-star. He's according to the On3 industry rankings, he's prospect number 788th in the country, the 66th ranked cornerback, 22nd player from the state of Georgia, or state of Tennessee, excuse me. He took official visits to Tennessee, of course, mid-June. Took official visits to Louisville, to Ole Miss, to Wisconsin, to Kentucky. He's been to Notre Dame a couple of times and ends up picking the University of Tennessee, and he becomes the second cornerback in the class. So we'll get to this here in a moment. But Tennessee has 2 cornerbacks right now locked in for the class of 2026. Both of those guys, East Tennessee, well, I don't want to call Theodore an East Tennessee native, but both of those playing high school football in East Tennessee. So some in-state kind of locking down the in-state prospects, some of the best ones, right? He was on campus again June the 13th through 15th weekend or whatever, and BallQuest caught up with him leaving town. I'm pulling up a quote here. He just said, "Hey, I love spending time with the coaching staff, getting my family to campus for the first time and being sure to be able to spend as much time with the coaches as possible. It was a great weekend. I felt like they did a great job of answering all my questions, especially my parents. Everybody's parents got questions as well. They've had a lot of questions coming in because this was their first time on campus. I felt like Tennessee did a great job of answering all of that. I feel like everything was perfect, really." And things that he loved about Rocky Top when he was in here on his official visit, and reasons he obviously chose Tennessee. Say, quote, "They love the culture," about his parents. So they love the way that it was set up with the coaches, the recruiting staff, how they all carried themselves around us, and the way they talked to us and appreciated us. I felt like they did a really good job of answering their questions. They had a lot of questions, but I like Tennessee did a good job of answering those and explaining things beforehand. And, of course, he loves the football aspect of things. So Jamyan Theodore, who's been kind of rumored to Tennessee for a little bit, went ahead and committed to the University of Tennessee on Tuesday as well. And 6 foot, 170 pounds from Baylor School, and he becomes Tennessee's 16th commit from the class. So we take a look at kind of where we are in the class of 2026 now. 16 commits, 7 commits in the span of the last 5 days. Pretty impressive, right? I mean, there was 4 commits, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. I mean, those are starting in the fall. You're starting to kind of get hot a little bit on the trail. And so Tennessee currently 16 commits, 7 commits in the last 5 days. You still have 1 5-star prospect, and that's, of course, Faison Brandon, your quarterback. 8 4-stars and 7 3-stars in this class, okay? The way this breaks down, if you want to go position by position, is your quarterback, 1 player committed, and that's Faison Brandon. No running backs right now. Of course, Davion Hyder very much in that conversation. 1 tight end commit so far, and that's Carson Snee. But, of course, we're still waiting to see, is it going to be Tennessee? Is it going to be Florida? I know that he went to North Carolina a couple weeks ago as well. Carson Sneed's in this class. Will he stay in this class? Hopefully we'll get some resolution on that here in the next week or two. Wide receivers, Tristan Keys is still the big target out there. LSU commit, but certainly open to decommitting and looking elsewhere. I mean, he's looking elsewhere already, but will he end up in Tennessee's class? We'll find out. But of course, Tennessee's already got 2 commits at the wide receiver position. Tyreek King, who just continues to grow, just continues to get more and more hype this offseason. And, you look at the two of the top 3 commits in this class for Tennessee are, from East Tennessee. And that's Tyreek King and Gabriel Ascenda, who, again, is from Baylor School. He's not from Tennessee, again, but is playing high school football at Baylor. So, again, I think this staff's done a great job. I'll count them here in a minute, of getting in-state prospects to campus. I think they're doing a great job in that regard. But Tyreek King and then Legend Bay. Legend Bay is more of an athlete. Okay, we talked about him earlier in the week when he committed to Tennessee, but a guy that plays quarterback in high school, played a little bit of slot receiver here, just trying to get the ball in his hands. And, of course, his head football coach said that he was, in his opinion, might be some bias there, but in his opinion, the best player in the state of Texas with the football in his hands. That's some pretty big praise right there. So 2 wide receiver commits right now, 2 on the offensive line, Gabriel Ascenda, we just mentioned, and Ed Baker, who committed over the weekend. 3 edge players in Zach Groves, Kedrick Golston, and C.J. Edwards. C.J. Edwards is a true Leo. Golston is a hybrid linebacker. He can do a little bit of everything. He can stand up, put a hand in the dirt. He can play in the middle layer on the inside linebacker position as well. That's kind of what he's been doing in high school. I'm intrigued to see what they do with Kedrick Golston. And then Zach Groves is already weighing 245, almost 250. So I see him shifting over to the traditional defensive end spot and being a 5 technique. That's kind of what I see from him. But 3 edge players in this class already. Okay, 1 true defensive lineman. Again, he committed to Tennessee yesterday, and Dereon Albert, the 4-star. 2 linebackers now. Okay, and T.J. White, who committed yesterday, and Braylon Outlaw, who's been in this class for quite some time. And I'm intrigued to see what Braden Rouse does, man. If Braden Rouse commits to Tennessee here in the next couple of weeks, that linebacker class again is just going to be so good. I love it's a lot of unproven. There's a lot of youth in the room, especially for this season. But I just love the makeup of that linebacker room. I really do. And if Braden Rouse can be added to it, whoo! But already with T.J. White and Braylon Outlaw looks pretty good. T.J. White, a big-time commit. Again, I think could be the steal of this signing class. I really, really do. 2 safeties right now in K.J. McClain and Luke Thompson. Luke Thompson, of course, in state. K.J. McClain, I believe, from New Jersey. And then 2 cornerbacks, and Jamyan Theodore, who, again, committed yesterday, and then Zayden Anderson from Greenville High School. That's kind of the breakdown so far, position by position. Again, 1 5-star, 8 4-star, 7 3-stars, 1 5-star, 8 4-star, 7 3-stars, 16 commits, 7 in the last 5 days. I kind of went down position by position there. So who's next? Who will be next to jump in this class potentially? Who's making announcements in the coming days or whatever? Well, after 7 commits in the last 5 days, you might get a little bit of a breather. Okay, I think Javonte Smith, Arkansas Tennessee battle. I think he's announcing on July the 8th. So got about a week here, a little over a week or a week. And then Joel Wyatt, of course, pushed his commitment date back. He was going to commit on the 6th. He decided after speaking with his family, he's going to take some more time to evaluate some things. Again, Tennessee loves him as a Leo. Will Tennessee, let him play another position such as safety? He's a wide receiver. He's an athlete, right? Wide receiver, safety. He's got the makeup and the body stature and all that to be a pretty good edge player at this level, and I think that's what Tennessee really, really likes about him. But we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to say that's an end-all, be-all or whatever, but that's going to come down to between Tennessee and Vanderbilt, and others were involved as well. This is an in-state prospect, the best prospect in the state of Tennessee, and we'll see what he ends up deciding to do. But he was going to commit somewhere on July the 6th. He has pushed that back, so we'll be watching that one for sure and seeing what comes of that. So pretty good little run here for Tennessee football recruiting. 7 commits in the last 5 days. Tennessee's now up to 16 commits with 3 commits on Tuesday. Linebacker T.J. White, 4-star. Defensive lineman Dereon Albert, 4-star. And cornerback Jamyan Theodore, 3-star. Josh Heupel's continuing to stack them up. That is for sure. Hey, when we come back, where is Tennessee going to be going bowling this year, according to Brett McMurphy? How high is Jamal McCoy ranked in EA Sports defensive top 10 rankings? Who are the top 20 quarterbacks in the country? Going to sprinkle in a lot of content here, but predominantly from EA Sports, loving them some Jamal McCoy. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. EA Sports College Football 26 released their top 10 defensive players ahead of the new video game coming out. Of course, the video game made a return last year. but they do a new one every single year, right, with updated everything. And the top 10 players who EA Sports believes are in college football on the defensive side of the football. Number 1, Ohio State's Caleb Downs, safety. Number 2, TJ Parker, defensive end from Clemson. Number 3, Anthony Hill, linebacker from Texas. Number 4, Peter Woods, defensive lineman from Clemson. Clemson's defense all over this list here. Dylan Stewart from South Carolina at number 5. And then coming in at number 6, Jermod McCoy at 94 overall. Cornerback, All-American from the University of Tennessee. They say, quote, "Finally, a cornerback appears on this list, and he is just the latest from the SEC to appear, and McCoy entering his second season on Rocky Top. In real life, McCoy is still rehabbing from a torn ACL, and the hope is to be ready in the early portions of the fall. Tennessee fans will still have the option to use him in the play the game, likely finding a good amount of success, of course, in the video game." Jamal McCoy, 94 overall. How about that? Again, we at Locked On, we're doing a top 100 college football player list. We're all voting on that. It's going to come out here, I would assume, in the coming weeks. And gosh, it was so incredibly difficult to pick to do the list of 100. But Jamal McCoy, I'm trying to think if I had him as the first cornerback or the second cornerback in college football. But I had Jamal McCoy like in the top 15 easily. I like Jamal McCoy, man. Obviously, I'm not. It's a Tennessee podcast, but just look at what he did last year, right? He was phenomenal last year. EA Sports College Football 26 loves them some Jamal McCoy as well. 6th highest defensive ranked player, 94 overall in the video game. Colin Simmons, 93 overall from Texas, the edge player. Leonard Moore, another cornerback, 93 overall from Notre Dame. Auburn's Keldrick Falk, 93 overall, edge player. And, of course, the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thielman, 93 overall. Those are the top 10 defensive players in EA Sports video games. What about the top offensive players? No Tennessee players here, obviously, but we could expect the first couple, right? Jeremiah Smith's got to be number 1. Ryan Williams got to be in the top 3 somewhere. I bet Sam Levitt's the first quarterback off the board. Let's see what happens. All right, Jeremiah Smith is number 1, wide receiver, 98 overall rating. Ryan Williams, number 2, 95 overall rating. Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, 95 overall rating, comes in at number 3. Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson, 94 overall. Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama, 94 overall. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah, 94 overall. No quarterbacks in the top 10. We'll do a quarterback listing here in a moment, but no quarterbacks in the top 10. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle. I've already did that one. Reed Adams, the guard from Texas A&M, is in there at number 7, 93 overall. Eli Stowers, wow. How about that? Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. He's a baller. I remember preparing for Vanderbilt the last game of the regular season, and it was the Pavia show and the Eli Stowers show. That's or Stowers show, however you pronounce his name. Stowers. They carried that offense, but man, EA Sports College Football 26 really likes him. Number 8, the 8th ranked offensive player, have him a 93 rating at tight end. Francis Mauinoa, of course, we know all about him, offensive tackle, former Tennessee recruit, 93 overall. Isaac Brown, running back from Louisville, 93 overall, number 10 overall. Okay, so those are the top 10 on the offensive side of the football. Here's the top 20 quarterback rankings, and we can make a show about this later. Of course, no Tennessee quarterbacks in here, but a former Tennessee quarterback's in here. Kate Klubnik, number 1 ranked quarterback, 92 overall. Garrett Nussmeier, 92 overall. Drew Aller, 92 overall. Sam Levitt is actually number 4, a 91 overall. So Sam Levy comes in at number 4, Arizona State. Lenora Sellers, 91 overall from South Carolina, is number 5. John Mateer, transferring to Oklahoma from Washington, 91 overall, number 6. Carson Beck, I think that's too steep, 91 overall from Georgia to Miami. Arch Manning comes in at number 9, 90 overall. DJ Lagway comes in at number 10, 90 overall. In case you're wondering, the quarterbacks ranked 11 through 20 according to EA Sports College Football 26. Avery Johnson, 89 overall. Kevin Jennings, SMU's quarterback, 89 overall. Darian Masai, Duke's transfer quarterback. He was from, was that Tulane? But anyway, Duke's transfer quarterback, 89 overall. Luke Altmaier, Illinois, 89 overall. Caden Salter, former Tennessee signee, 88 overall, 15th ranked quarterback. Nico Iamaleava, 88 overall for UCLA. That's at number 16. Diego Pavia, 88 overall. Vanderbilt, number 17. Rocco Beck, Iowa State's quarterback, 88 overall. Number 18, Jake Retzlaff, BYU's quarterback, 88 overall. And Sawyer Robinson, Baylor's quarterback, 88 overall, comes in at number 20. So that is a look at the top 20 quarterbacks in the game. And, of course, I mean, we didn't expect to see Joey Aguilar or Jake Merklinger on that list for sure. We did not. Maybe by season's end, potentially. Brett McMurphy, who joined On3 Sports at the beginning of this week, he released a college football bowl projections, giving his full list of matchups, playoff predictions, and all that. He has Tennessee not in the college football playoff. No Tennessee fans are going to want to hear this. He has Tennessee playing Duke in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Charlotte, North Carolina, on January the 2nd. So for that to happen, I mean, that means Tennessee's what, 8-4? I mean, if Tennessee's 9-3, they could still technically go there, don't get me wrong, but if you're 9-3, you're probably going somewhere to Florida, I would imagine. 7-5 could get you the Mayo Bowl. I mean, Tennessee went to the Mayo Bowl a couple of years ago, or Tennessee went to was it the Bell Bowl or the Mayo Bowl? No, Music City Bowl a couple years ago, 7-5. Anyway, nonetheless, Tennessee against Duke in the Duke Mayo Bowl on January the 2nd. That is what Brett McMurphy believes is in store for Tennessee. Outside of the college football playoff, he has other teams from the SEC. He has South Carolina taking on Baylor in the Liberty Bowl. He has Florida taking on Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. That's interesting. Okay, that means Florida's ahead of Tennessee in the pecking order. Don't like that. Has Texas A&M taking on Indiana in the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is the former Outback Bowl. Okay. He's got Ole Miss taking on Illinois in the Music City Bowl. Missouri taking on Oklahoma State in the Birmingham Bowl. Want to avoid that one. He's got Oklahoma taking on Iowa State in the Texas Bowl. Want to avoid that one. Auburn taking on Georgia Tech in the Gator Bowl. What else we got here? Surely that's not it before we get into the playoffs. 1 second, guys. Doing this in real time. Arkansas taking on Virginia Tech in the Gasparilla Bowl. Okay, so that's outside of the college football playoff. He has Texas is the number 5 seed, hosting number 12 seed Boise State in the first round. LSU is the number 8 seed, hosting Oregon, the number 9 seed, in the first round. Clemson, the number 6 seed, hosting Utah, the number 11 seed, in the first round. Alabama, the number 7 seed, hosting Miami, the number 10 seed, in the first round. And then in the quarterfinals, he has Texas winning the first round matchup to take on number 4 seeded Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. He has Oregon winning the first round matchup to take on number 1 seeded Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. He has Alabama winning the matchup to await number 2 seed Penn State in the Rose Bowl. And then he's got Clemson winning its first round matchup to take on number 3 seed Georgia in the Caesars Superdome for the Sugar Bowl. Semifinals, he's got Notre Dame, the 1 seed, against Ohio State, the 4 seed. That's in the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State, the 2 seed, against Georgia, the 3 seed, in the Peach Bowl. And then the national championship game, he's got at Hard Rock Stadium, he's got Georgia, the number 3 seed, taking on Ohio State, the number 4 seed, and he has Georgia winning that national championship. So again, this is July the 2nd. Long time to go, okay? Just kind of something fun to talk about in the offseason. Certainly, you hope for Tennessee's sake that Tennessee is not playing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. You hopefully you have a better season than that, right? But of course, we'll have to see. We'll have to see for sure. I don't think the pecking order is exactly what it used to be, 5-10 years ago. I think that there's some leeway in there to where, like Tennessee was 8-4, and Tennessee played in the Citrus Bowl a couple years ago. Typically, 8-4 wouldn't be good enough to get you in the Citrus Bowl normally, right? So I think there's some exceptions nowadays, with the college football playoff and all that. But nonetheless, a lot of info, a lot of things to react to here on this edition of Locked On Vols. Can't thank you enough for being here and spending the morning with us here on Locked On Vols. Big day for Tennessee recruiting yesterday. 3 commits, 16 total in the class now, 7 in the last 5 days, and we'll see who's next for Josh Heupel, and we'll see when all the dust settles. We'll kind of see where Tennessee falls in the rankings after after all those commits yesterday. So we'll react to it all. We'll talk about it all right here on Locked On Vols. We'll have Josh Ward coming up on a Thursday. He had a conflict when we normally record, so Josh Ward's scheduled to be on the show tomorrow, and of course everything else happening in the world of Tennessee athletics. We'll talk about it right here on Locked On Vols. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody.